this is an SLC-esque building. I'm not sure if you guys really, if it could really sink in how unique it is what we do. I mean, at Vector, to be a privately held company, and for the owners of this company to pour the money in like they do for an event like this. You guys know that I work for Vector, but Vector's owned by who? By Cutco, right? So the owners of Cutco basically throw an event that costs tens of thousands of dollars. Dinner tonight, probably 20 grand, give or take. That's just dinner, you know what I'm saying? Your rooms, flights, everything else that goes into it. I've got to pay me. I mean, all the things that goes in to Strategic Leadership Conference. It's tens of, I'm going to say hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here's the crazy part. I don't have to run the agenda by them. They literally let the field plan out the agenda and do whatever we want to grow. But it's unique. Other companies simply don't do that. Other companies simply don't do what Vector's done with his Leadership Development Day. When I started explaining to my mom what the new role was and how I got to sit down with 3 or 4 of our best leaders, I mean, a division manager and 2 or 3 pillars at a time, and I was explaining to them we were getting into like how to grow personally and professionally, and to talk about things like habits, and to talk about things like relationships. She said to me, most people only think about those things when everything hits the wall, or they're dying, sure. She goes, your company is doing that with people in their 20s and 30s. I said, yeah. Isn't that crazy? She says, I don't think you can truly appreciate how unique that is. So I'm trying. It's unique. Most companies don't do it. Most companies don't say, yeah, let's take 100 grand plus and pour it into our leadership capital. I believe it's a worthwhile work. I believe that as a result of working here at Vector, I'm a better son. I believe at working at Vector, I'm a better brother. I certainly believe, running with people like Al, been hanging out with him since 1995, that I'm a better father. I truly believe that the person you're becoming is more important than even the business that you're building. Because I believe that the person you're becoming absolutely affects the other. I'm even going to say this, the person you're becoming is even more important than the money that you're making. You can get more money, you can't get more time. I believe that the skills we work on specifically at Leadership Development Day will make you better at the business. And that is what the Leadership Development Initiative is all about. I hope tonight, I know it's late, I know you've had a few cocktails, but my hope is that this will be a catalyst for the rest of SLC. For you specifically, I hope you get at least one thing that could possibly unlock the rest of the messages that you hear from. We want you to feel part of the movement, the buzz that you've heard about regarding leadership development. What we've decided to present in the 60 minutes that we have is the distilled nuggets based on feedback from those. The number's a little fuzzy, by the way. 99 field managers have been through. We've had over 100, including some sales support people, and some Olean folks have been through a leadership day as well. But our feedback from these people, we've distilled it down to the essential nuggets that we wanted to present to you today, so that at least you've got the content. Nothing could replace, of course, coming out to Philly and hanging out and getting on a cheesesteak. And hopefully that'll be an experience for more and more of you in the years and even weeks to come. But at the very least, so excited that the owners of the company, that the presidents decided that it was important enough to be able to bring this content to everybody here at Strategic Leadership Conference 27. You know, last year when we kind of launched the movement, John and Kane and I were going to spend about a year, we figured, just researching what we could do. Hey, if good is the enemy of great, let's make sure that we're not just doing neat stuff. Let's make sure we research, do due diligence to make sure that we make this thing great. So let's take a year to navel gaze and take a look at what else is out there and bring it in. It would be awesome. So right now, maybe we'd be announcing something that was going to be kind of cool. Well, we sat down with Albert in a Philadelphia cafe, and we were talking about this one event that we'd had with the Philadelphia division, right? John Wasserman and some folks came in, and we sat down, and John Kane went through this relationship exercise, and he said, Trent, would you bring in some of the greatest hits from some of your coaching? And we'll just have this day where we're just loving on people. It'll be awesome, awesomeness. And it was. I wish I was confident I could tell you we weren't surprised. We were surprised it went as well as it did, that the impact was as strong as it was, that some of the feedback sounded something like, best day of my life. I was hoping we might have best vector day. I thought we'd just not suck, actually. I was hoping for just not be terrible, you know what I'm saying? But I thought maybe we got something. We started explaining it to Albert. I mean, really what we did throughout the whole day. Albert says, this is the move. This is the move. We're like, Al, it's really expensive. Like, we're bringing people into Philly, it's hotels, it's flights. He's like, no, this is the move. I'm like, so should we do this at like VFW or like Best Western? He's like, no, do it. This is the move. This is the content. Start. Go. And we went on a rampage, getting as many of you through it as possible. We're glad to be able to at least try and catch up the rest of you today. Some of the coaching that started all those years ago, Drew was one of the first guys, kind of guinea pigs, if you will. And one of the things I started with the coaching was, what were some of the things I really wish I knew when I was 21 and I opened up my office? What are some of the things that I learned the hard way that I really wish I could have learned a little faster, a little easier? And that's much of where the coaching started, and that's much of where, I want to relate with so many of you here today. I want you to know that I remember being a new district manager. I want you to know that I remember and I honor and appreciate the sacrifice that you make day to day. It's not hyperbole. It's not just lip service when we say that the district manager is the absolute backbone of this business. How about you give yourselves a round of applause for being purely awesome? It's really that commitment that makes it easy to say yes to come here. This is a song that my daughter, 7 years old, was working on yesterday. My wife texted me. She says, Rebecca's writing a song. It's sad without my dad. Day one of a 6-day trip. Awesome, honey. Thanks for texting me that one last night. That was fantastic. That's terrific. That's real. She's got a future in Nashville, tear in my beer type stuff. That's great. So I'm just sharing that with you. Let's keep that going. All right. This is a worthy question for your journal. You ready? If you're ready, say, I'm ready. Oh, this is a good crowd. We got some microphones. We're going to need them a little bit, all right? We're going to make this interactive. So I'd like you to write this question down, call it the key question, in your journal, and we'll make this interactive. You have a chance to share, perhaps, if you'd like. The key question is this. If I were to do blank daily, my life would improve. What's the key word? Dramatically, okay? So it's not just like neat. It's like if I were to do blank, what's your blank? What's in the blank for you? It could be more than one thing. Bless you. It could be more than one thing. I'll just give you a moment to write some of those down. If I were to do blank daily, my life would improve what? Okay, that should be your meter then. This is what we call the key question. This is one of the exercises we do at Leadership Day, right? If I were to do blank daily, my life would improve dramatically. All right, what I'd like you to do, has everybody got something? I want you to turn to your partner. You know your partner, right? Say, look at your partner. I want you to say, you are my thunder buddy. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to share at least one of the things with your thunder buddy. We'll give you 90 seconds to share with each other what your blank is, okay? I'll give you 90 seconds starting now. All right. Have you switched yet? If you haven't switched yet, you got to switch now. 45 seconds. Hey, Jake, maybe we can start with you in the middle. That'd be great. 5, 20 seconds. Finish up with your Thunder Buddy. If you're already done, I want you to high five your Thunder Buddy. Say, "You're awesome, Thunder Buddy." All right. All right, sounds like we're good. Hey, how was that? Is that pretty cool? Who came up with something right away? Like, boom, I know what my thing is, right? Well, I know what my blank is. Who would be willing to share on the microphone, right, from national, international television, right? Who wants to share the thing in your blank there? Help us out. Tell us your name and what your thing is.
My name is Steven Sankovic. So my ultimate thing would be to build my relationships with my family and with Christ.
All right, so if I was to build my relationship with my family and my God, my life would improve not just a little bit, but dramatically. Anybody else got one? Who else wants to share? Mandy Webb, formerly Reardon.
What? Okay. If I were to wake up at 5 a.m. daily, my life would improve dramatically.
I missed that one.
If I were to wake up at 5 a.m. every day.
If I was to wake up at 5 a.m., my life would improve? Dramatically. Okay, all right. Anybody else interested in sharing what yours is? Got a few more over here. Right, one more over here, two more over here, right? All right, tell us your name, right here.
I'm Dallas, and if I were to do more proactive things versus reactive things, like in my life and the office.
If I were to do more proactive things versus reactive things, my life would improve dramatically. What else is one here? Mr. Wong.
Leo Wong, if I was to eat healthy daily, my life would improve dramatically.
You say what?
Eat healthy.
So who had eat healthy as your thing? If I was to eat clean, eat healthy, my life would improve? Dramatically, right?
My name is Carlos. If I were to exercise every day.
Who had that one? Exercise. Look at all the hands. If I was to exercise daily, my life would improve dramatically. Who else has to share?
Prancercise.
Mr. Brandt? Yeah, go ahead.
Rob Brandt. If I were to talk to Trent Booth daily, my life would improve dramatically.
That's great. You got my phone number. I mean, just call me, man. All right. So, if I was to talk to Trent Booth daily, my life would improve dramatically. Yes.
My name is Joseph Diaz. If I spent more time alone daily, my life would improve dramatically.
More time with?
Alone.
Alone. Not Trent Booth, nobody. It's just alone. Could be a hermit. My life would improve
dramatically.
Dramatically. Less people problems anyways, right? What else? Teasing, right? All right, what else we got? Team Canada.
My name is Sasha, and if I were to sweat daily, my life would improve dramatically.
All right, so not exercise necessarily. I just need to sweat. Eat some meat, get the meat sweats. My life would improve dramatically. What else we got here? Over here.
My name is Mike Abramowitz. If I journaled and reflected and appreciated daily, my life would improve dramatically.
Journaled and reflected daily. My life would improve dramatically. Over here.
My name is Nicole, and if I were to meditate daily, my life would improve dramatically.
If I was to meditate daily, get all zen and chill, my life would improve dramatically. Who else we got?
My name is James Kane, and if I were to read daily, my life would improve
Anybody have that
dramatically.
one? Read daily. My life would improve dramatically. That's really expensive, though. I mean, what else we got? Team Canada's got one over here. All right, we're almost out, aren't we? Are we almost out? What do we got, Team Canada?
My name is Richard Lalonde, and if I were to reach out to someone daily, my life would improve dramatically.
It's just a simple reach out. I could text them, I could call them, I could talk to them daily. My life would improve dramatically. Who else we got here? All right.
Tim Ortega. Actually, kind of stole mine, but I was going to say if I can reach out to someone I generally care about daily, my life would
I like the tweak. If I was to reach out to somebody I genuinely care about daily, my life would improve dramatically. Last chance, last call. Oh, we just missed it. Oh, we'll give you one too.
Camilla Malupol. And if I were to do Miracle Morning daily, my life would change dramatically.
Okay, tell us what's involved with Miracle Morning in case everybody's not Yo Pal Hal, all right? What we got?
So real quick, first of all, get up 5 in the morning.
Get up at 5.
And you meditate.
Meditate.
There's exercise.
Exercise.
You read.
Read.
You review your intentions of the day.
Intentions for the day, goals.
And what's the last one? What was that?
Well, you got to
Oh,
eat
affirmations.
too, right?
Affirmations. That's right. That's what I
Affirmations,
was
got to
missing.
eat. There's a whole package
Yeah, there's
there,
a whole
right?
package
So
there.
kind of a awesome
But
hodgepodge.
if I just run
of
that program daily,
everything.
it will improve dramatically.
Strong. Nate up front here, we'll let you go. Last one.
Nathan Nakar, Team Canada. If I were just to focus on my goals daily and just
Let's
review.
focus
get
on
some
my goals
clarity.
daily. My life would improve
Dramatically.
Okay, folks, question for you. What were some things you noticed about everything we just listed? What were some commonalities between all the things we just listed? Who's got some thoughts? Some commonalities. We still got mics going on here? Terrific. Right up front here. Tell me your name. Victor. All right, tell us, Victor. Some things you noticed.
Most of those things we all agreed on, and they happen early in the morning.
Okay, many of them happen early in the morning, not necessarily all. You better not call me Rob Brand at 5 a.m. because I'm sleeping.
My name's Josh Gort. They're easy to do, and they're easy not to do.
Easy to do, easy not to do. What else we got? What else we notice here?
It's free.
Oh, no, they're really expensive, aren't they? They couldn't possibly be
Well,
free.
most
'cause
of it is
we're
free.
not doing them. So we're not doing them. They're free. They're easy to do. They're easy not to do. What else we notice?
Most of them had nothing to do with the business, but they would really impact it.
Most of them have nothing on the front end to do with the business, but
Yeah, absolutely.
wow, it's not like if I could just PDI more, right? But we're serious, like when we say, if I could just do these things, my life would improve dramatically. Wow, it improved the business too.
Most of them were either focusing on ourselves or focusing on relationships.
Ourselves and relationships. Interesting. Can anybody tell me here why we're not doing these things? They're freaking free. You know how to do them. How do I know that you know how to do them? They're in your head. So you know how to do them. They're free. They're easy to do. What am I missing here? Why aren't we doing these things? It's not just you, it's me. What's way worse, by the way, is teaching about it and not doing it. That's way worse. All right? So it's not just you, I'm right with you, right? We're never as good as we look from the podium. So why are we not doing them? What is wrong? Pride? Habits? Thought.
I realized that I originally wanted to start working out in the morning, and I would wake up and I would look at the snooze or hit the snooze, and in the time I would do that, if I'd have just went for a run, I would have already done the objective. And once that clicked, it made it a lot easier to just do it. That we spend a lot more time just selling ourselves off why we don't have time to do it, but in that 20 minutes, 30 minutes, hour, whatever, if we just did it, we can make so much more out of the rest of the day.
It's really good. How's this feeling so far? Is this pretty good use of time? I mean, you guys could be drinking right now, right? I mean, does this feel like a good move? We can just stop if you're, all right. So, is this a true statement? Is this a true statement? Especially in this room, all right? I would venture to guess most of you all know what you need to do, right? Most of you know the things you ought to do. We just made a list that was free, easy. We know to do it. And most of them didn't take that long, right? Like, I think every single one of those was under an hour. I mean, you couldn't say you couldn't talk to somebody for an hour, but really wouldn't have to be a really long thing. Most people know the things they ought to do. So why aren't we doing them? I'm hearing things like bad habits. I'm hearing things like laziness. I'm hearing things like pride. What else could it be? Just yell it out. Accountability. What else?
Choosing not to do it.
Choosing not to do it? Yeah, it's usually not that sinister, is it? I mean, most of us aren't saying, I don't want to be healthy. I'm choosing to actually not be healthy. I'm choosing to just eat as much fat as I can in small amounts. We're all going to KFC.
It takes you build up in your mind that these things take so long to do, when really like going to the gym could be as easy as 45 minutes in the morning. When you say it out loud though in your head, you're like, oh, I gotta go all the way to the gym.
I have a theory. You want to hear it? Most of us aren't really thinking about it. I mean, it's there, back of your brain. Maybe in those still small moments when you're staring at the ceiling before you fall asleep. It's there, but we're not fully aware of them. Kind of like that thing that's bothering you, and maybe if I'm motivated enough, I'll get to it. But awareness, So often, if we're fully aware of it, you know what I found happening? Is people started making adjustments. Somebody had the word over here as accountability, right? If I was aware of it, I make a change. My wife's a dietitian. She's a dietitian. So she works at a hospital, and they did a study one time. They determined that if you kept a food diary, a very simple diary of I write down what I eat, to as complex as I've got a program, I've got an app that will show me the breakdown of carbs, fat, protein, and calories for the day as I enter food in. What they determined is that even the simple diary, if you kept a food diary, you're 7 times more likely to reach your weight loss goals. I'll repeat that. Not a little bit better, you were 7 times more likely to reach your goals. Can anybody unpack that mystery to me? Why is that possibly true? You keep track. Guilt. When I write the Twinkie down, I'm like, oh. Right? We don't like to hate ourselves, right? We try. We go out of our way. There's awareness here. Let's hold on to the mics for now. Here's what I'm thinking, guys. All right? Here's what I'm thinking. 7 times more likely. Now, this study was based on food, but I'd be willing to bet that it's transferable. Yes or yes? I'd be willing to bet if you started writing down or becoming aware, find your process, find your way, aware of the things that you ought to do, that it could translate. It could work with vector. Maybe it's not 7 times. What if it was 3? What if it was 2? What if it was 0.5? Awareness. So I would say that the secret sauce of the leadership day is we're helping people become aware. 3 legs of the stool that we've really been focusing on. Self and personal effectiveness. We talked a lot about habits just now. This would be one of the exercises we walk through. Relationships. Can I tell you something? As we're done here today, we're actually certifying you, we're deputizing you. Man, we're hoping that you will feel empowered in the cause to start taking this to your people immediately. I mean, how hard is it to ask that question I just asked? If I were to do blank daily, my life would improve dramatically. Will you sit down with somebody at a PC and you just say, listen, if you were to do blank daily, what things would you put in that blank? And they start going through them. And you start working with them on their plan of things that they want to do, things that they know they should do, things that would make them improve their effectiveness dramatically. All of a sudden, you're leveraging massively without a lot of work. You can do that right now. If I were to do blank daily, my life would improve dramatically. We're hoping that you'll be enlisted in the cause. We're hoping that you'll go and you'll multiply this, that you'll actually do it. That you'll take this back to your district, you'll take this back to your division, and you'll take it back to your families and start working on these things. You're immediately empowered to do so. At least as far as we're concerned. So we're going to talk some of these things here. We don't have a lot of time, obviously, as you can imagine. I do want to talk a little bit about journaling. Show of hands, you've ever journaled, you kind of journal, I've journaled, I'm a journaler, or I one-time journaled and stopped even. It's quite a few people. All right. We'll need the mics again, because I'm curious. For those of you that don't journal, I've heard some objections over the years in terms of why I would not journal. I'm curious if you could come up, even if it's not your objection, but can you imagine what some of the objections are around journaling? Like, I don't journal because, how would you fill in that blank? I don't journal because, Mike.
I feel like awkward, like with my self-talk, like writing what I'm thinking. It just sounds silly.
It sounds silly, especially if I talk third person. The Trent is not pleased. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, today I had this for lunch.
Yeah.
It just seems pointless.
Okay, that's legit. What else we got? Reasons why just people don't journal. Some thoughts right here. What you got?
When I was in junior high, I had written a journal, and in class I described how I felt about one of the girls next to me in an attractive way, and my mom read it, and I had to have a talk about it, and I've never written since.
Dude, that is all kinds of horrible. I mean, his blood pressure went up when the journals came out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, it's got ticks over here, right? Why not journal? If I hear you right, part of it's like, listen, somebody broke trust with it, so I'm going to write this stuff down, and now it's out there. I'm vulnerable. But it was really embarrassing one time. I mean, it was really embarrassing one time. What else we got? Steve.
So I don't always journal, but when I do, no, I'm not going into that. But when I journal, it's mainly because I feel almost helpless in a situation. It allows me to reflect on what's going on. So I guess it's almost in a good sense, but I don't really optimize the potential that could be with journaling. You know, I use it as kind of a focus to figure out what I'm doing that's not giving me the desired result that I want.
I call that valley journaling. Anybody relate to that? I only journal when things are bad. Show of hands. By the way, if you look at my journals from my early 20s, and I've been journaling since I was 19. If you look at my journals in my 20s, there'd be 42 days sometimes between entries. I would only journal when I was in the valley. It was having the dark night of the soul experience, right? And I would use it as a way to get out. So it was great at that moment, and apparently it worked so well I stopped doing it. For the rest of the times, I don't know. But I could definitely relate with that one, right? The valley journalers, right? Why else not journal? We have some other thoughts here. Tom.
So busy that I feel like I can't stop to do that thing. This isn't important enough right now.
I'm too busy to journal, man. Anybody relate to that one? Does that resonate with you a little bit? Hey, I could be talking on PDI. I'm going to journal. What else?
I have to remember to journal.
I got to remember. It's really, it's sophisticated, and you got to have a pen. I got to remember how to do it. Got to find what page I was in. All right.
Me personally, I never journaled when I was younger because I had this belief that I built up in myself that it was ridiculous to journal, and it was just something that I had picked up through peers who I had been with at the time. Even though my mom used to journal all the time, I never knew that. But it was just a belief I had built up in myself, and I realized how ridiculous it is now. But
yeah, none of the cool kids are doing it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're all wearing Iron Maiden jean jackets and driving 4x4s, man. They're not journaling. By the way, you moved up in the food chain in my town where I grew up. If you had a 4x4 and, Led Zeppelin jacket, it was awesome. I wasn't even that cool. I was total Williams. We got over here? Who we got?
My name's Connor, and I've never been taught to journal or never thought to in my whole life, so.
Yeah, I'm not even aware that this is a thing.
So, yeah.
Like, really? That's a thing? Like, that's crazy. Never mind not knowing how to do it. I just didn't even know what I didn't know. People do that? People buy an empty book for $40.
Tim Ortega. I usually journal, sometimes I don't, and I've also known some people that don't journal as well, some of my friends, and the reason why they say, and the reason why I sometimes don't journal is because people don't want to see themselves not doing the right thing, or see themselves like not doing the things they're not supposed to be doing, or writing down the things they know they ought to be doing.
So if I hear you right, hey, I'm dirty, and if I shine a spotlight, I'm going to see how dirty I am. Right. So I know I'm not doing the things I know I ought to do. And the more I journal, the more I'm aware of that, and that just feels bad. I can relate to that one, right? I can relate to that one. Is there all more reasons why we should not be journaling? We got one over here, Jake. What we got? Ben.
Yep. As someone who's not really journaled except for a dream journal, I haven't had yet a good explanation of the value behind it. I know a lot of people do it, and so I'm asking for.
Okay. Hey, I'm open to it. I'm curious. I just don't know why I'd exchange my time for this. Okay, this is very common. I've even heard something as simple as, okay, Dear Diary, is that what we're talking about? Because if it's Dear Diary, I'm not interested. Right? I mean, it's what 13-year-old girls do, right? I'm clearly not 13-year-old girl. I don't diary, right? Why would I do that? One more. What we got? One more objection. Make it a good one, James.
I can't read my own writing. I'm probably not going to read it anyways.
My writing is illegible. We're going to have that problem more and more, right? I suppose you could type it if you really needed to, right? But they eliminated cursive in schools, right? They're not teaching cursive anymore in schools. So I started writing in cursive this year just to fight the man. Are you following? It's been 25 years since I've written in cursive. I started this year. Take that, man.
I get bored when I journal. I get bored journaling.
I get bored journaling. Okay, good. We're done with the feedback part now, right? Okay. But that was a good contribution. That was worth it. All right. Hold on to the mics. When I said last one, I meant it. What the? All right. All right. So, why do it? Anybody interested? Yes. All right, so for those of you that do journal, I'm curious, what value do you get out of it? I mean, it takes time, you're spending a lot of money, you're handwriting. This might be the only time you ever handwrite, ever, right? Other than signing a check or something, right? So if you journal, maybe you raise your hand, you're like, hey, I journal. What is the value? Why? What sale would you make for other people? Let's get some mics going again here. All right. So, who we got? James Patterson.
Yeah, I think for me the biggest thing is it helps keep me in a good place of remembering what I'm grateful for daily, and also, I think the best way I heard it was from Jim Rohn of just being a student of life, don't trusting on my memory to remember the lessons that I'm learning daily. And I think going back and looking at the things I got value from a year ago or a month ago are always good reminders.
Anybody relate to that? Hey, I'll totally remember this, and then whiff, gone. So can I give you an example? Is interested in the story? So in between our first and second child, we had 2 miscarriages. It was a really difficult season for us. I remember being on stage, giving a talk at SC2, and somebody flagged me off the stage, and I had to fly home from Toronto to Ottawa to be with my wife, and we lost our first baby. And then we lost another one. So it got to a point where we didn't know if we could have any more kids. We just didn't know where this was going. And it was a really difficult season for both of us. It hit me way harder than I thought. I wasn't even aware that that could happen. I didn't know you could not have a baby once you're pregnant. I just didn't know that worked like that. And coming through this process, we had a doctor that was just really gentle, really gracious with us. And she kind of shepherded us through the process. We eventually did get pregnant, but again, you're like, okay, we're pregnant, but let's not tell anybody because who knows where this is going to go. Eventually it was Jacob, who was miraculously born on his due date, perfect, with a really short and amazing delivery. It was wow. I just remember what a miracle it was to see this little 8-pound baby, with blonde hair and big blue eyes. I'm like, dude, he's a miracle. And the same doctor happened to be working her shift that day. And it was a miracle. I wrote it down in my journal. I'm so glad I did. It blessed me when it happened. I was like, wow, that's amazing that the kind of circle of life is complete. And the same doctor was there. It's got to be hard for her to explain to a couple that's just lost the baby what's happening, and then to have that same doctor be there was amazing. In our house, on your birthday, we talk about your birth story. We go over the mythology of you. So we were telling Jacob's story for years, and I was leaving that one part out because I forgot. I just straight forgot. One of the things Jim Rohn says, and he was really one of the main people I learned to journal from, says that half of the value of journaling is reading the journal. It's reviewing what you've written. So I decided, all right, I got to go back to volume 1, which is 20 years of journals for me. I started reading through it, and I got to the year where Jacob was born in February of 2004. And it actually happened to coincide with that same journal I was just referring to, where I wrote down that dream position description of what I would do. And a few pages later, I was like, wow, the same doctor was there for the miscarriages, was there for Jake's birth. I'm so glad I wrote it down. It blessed me 9 years ago when it happened. It blessed me again when I read it. We forget. We forget major stuff. So yeah, the really cool quote that you read yesterday isn't there. Are we tracking? if it's important for the big stuff and we forget the big stuff, you're going to really forget the little stuff and the little nuances. Can I tell you one of my deep regrets as I read through my journals of a 20-year-old Trent? Was I didn't write more. I'm like, 20-year-old Trent, what's wrong with you? 42 pages? You opened your branch in this time. Where is that? I was busy. But I missed it. Now I get it. I wish I could go back to 21-year-old Trent, say, dude, write this stuff down. What's wrong with you? But I can't. I can tell you, 21-year-old, write it down. Capture it, all of it. It's just an emotional snapshot. That's all it is. It's just an emotional snapshot. Thanks for reminding me of that, James. I appreciate it. Right? It helps me remember my stuff. It gives me perspective. There still are valley times where I'm like, okay, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do. Or I'm about to Hulk out and kill somebody. It still happens, right? I better go to my journal and get some perspective. And as I write out the issue, or how evil my wife is, or how brutal my children are to me, right? I start writing it out, I'm like, well, is that true? It's true that I'm feeling it, but is what I'm writing true? Do you know what I'm saying? And I check myself all the time. Very often, what I'm writing down is true in that moment, but it's not real. If that makes any sense to you. Journaling gives me perspective. It certainly helps me problem solve. It certainly helps me capture gratitude. Life meter brightens just a little bit when I'm experiencing gratitude. The life meter brightens just a little when I'm grateful for how great things are in my life. Just a little bit even. If I do it regularly, man, it's hard to feel sorry for yourself when you're going through your gratitude list. Are you tracking? Would anybody be interested in learning how to journal tonight? If I just gave you one thing? All right, let me give you one thing here. 2 questions I ask myself when I sit down and journal, right? There's a lot of different things I could show you. This is the basic 101 journaling. Don't take my word for it. Try this and see if it works for you. Ask yourself 2 questions when you sit down with that empty book. First question, what just happened? And this is often where I get the objection. What do you mean, what just happened? Like, what just happened? Like now, or like 5 minutes ago, or like this week, this year, this campaign? What? The answer is, yep. Where does your mind go when you ask it, what just happened? I can tell you from experience, you ask this question often enough, you get the micro, you get the 30,000-foot view, you keep doing it. I find when I do it in December, I'm doing the year in review a lot. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, it became such a great point that my wife and I now, we have a great family tradition where we annually get a great bottle of wine and bust out the journal for a year in review while we're killing that bottle. And then we do the year coming up. So we set goals, new goals, objectives, people we want to connect with, things we want to learn to do, ways we want to connect with each other, with our kids, with our friends, with our family. We write it all down. Hey, how did we do? Let's do a little report card on what the past year was. How'd it go? What just happened? Now, ladies, you might naturally do this part. When you're writing out what happened, you're attaching what to it? The emotions, how it felt. Guys, you got a follow-up question, okay? Otherwise, it's just a laundry list of crap you done. What just happened? Parked the car, ate a burrito. This journaling sucks. What the hell, man? This is Leadership Development Day. What just happened? How do I feel about that? What just happened? How do I feel about that? I can do that. He says, I can do that. Why? Why connect with the emotion? By the way, one of the objections I've heard, what if I had a bad day? I don't want to connect with negative emotions. Okay, let's just stay ignorance is bliss. Let's assume that for a moment. If you had a bad day and you don't want to acknowledge it, what happens usually? Right? It can compound, can it? It can get worse fast. Ignorance is not bliss. This would be Jim Rohn, right? Ignorance is Disaster, it's what he says, right? You got to listen to some of his audio. It's really good, right? Well, folks, if you had a bad day, here's what I can tell you from experience. While I'm journaling, I'm now aware of, sometimes I'm in a bad mood and I didn't even recognize it. Anybody had that? Like, I'm in a foul mood. Like, I just spoke harshly to my child that I love, the most important person in my world, and I just spoke harshly. Just because proximity is power, they were there. I'm like, I'm not in a good place right now. I'm going to go journal, figure out what's going on. Hey, what just happened? How do I feel about that? I'm like, I'm not in a good place right now. Now, instead of judging myself, I shouldn't ever feel bad. That's crap, because you do. But at least by acknowledging, I would say, well, why am I not good? Why? What happened? I can go deeper. Once I identify that, now I got a shot at what? Processing it. I got a shot at processing it. I got a shot of saying, okay, well, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Hopefully things change. Or sometimes it's like, I can't change this. And I'm going to choose to be okay about that. If you get really high on the EQ scale, I can really start to talk myself through resolution or perhaps even changing my emotional state. But you got a shot once you're aware. I can tell you this, when I review the journal and there were bad days, I can tell you, I've read through some of those and said, man, that was bad. Like that was a bad, wow. I hated going through that, but now I've got some character. Right? From the crucible of that experience, I've gleaned some character. Does that resonate with anybody here? You've had that experience before? You came through it. O for training. Only thing worse than O for, show for training, you know what I'm saying, O for whatever your number was. The only thing worse than having O for is one for 2 days. And then O for launch, right? Everybody tracks that one, right? So, way worse. Way worse, right? What I'm saying is by reading that, I'm like, wow, I'm glad I had that experience now because I have this. And actually, I'm gonna show my scars. Right? This is one of those things. This is a scar. I'm gonna bear it. Looks good on me, right? This is my scar. I got this. In fact, now I can help people in a way that I couldn't if I didn't have that experience. How's that sound now? Now all of a sudden, you're taking the bad crap that's happened to you and you're gonna redeem it. How's that sound? So it's not just pointless suffering all of a sudden. Hey, I got this experience. I got some character from it. How about this? I was in that valley and I got out. Anybody had that realization before? Like, heck yeah. Yeah, my parents got divorced. I made it. I'm okay. I'm okay. In fact, I'm on the mountaintop now. Celebrate it. I'm telling you, the negative stuff in your journal helps you put things in perspective. Sometimes you're having an amazing season in life and you didn't even know until you read through, wow, that's what a bad season looks like. I'm not there right now. Life's awesome. Anybody relate with that one? Awareness, it's a beautiful thing. What just happened? How do I feel about that? The follow-up, hey, what's gonna happen? What's coming up? How do I want to feel about that? What's going to happen, and how do I want to feel about that? By the way, it's your journal. You can chicken scratch all day long, James Chow. It's your journal, right? As long as you can somewhat make it out, right? You might work on that a bit, by the way. But the idea here is that this is your journal. You can shorthand, you can misspell. It's your journal, right? So what's going to happen, and how do I want to feel about that? By the way, not all the things you write down are bad, especially you get the habit of journaling. You get consistency with this. All of a sudden, you find yourself jotting down the great days and celebrating them. By the way, the only better than having a great day is recognizing that you had a great day. Are you hearing me? How tragic to have an amazing day and not even catch it. It's like, you ever had that vacation where you go, man, I wish I took more? Pictures, they're gone. The memories are gone. I'll remember. No, you won't. This is emotional snapshots. It's in your journal. And by the way, they're not all bad days. Some of them are great days. Man, I wrote it down. It resonated. I remember on Mondays, very often when I write down what just happened, I'm like, well, I hung out with Jake. You know, we had hockey. We didn't really do anything on Saturday. We watched a movie. You know, we watched a rerun of Star Wars. You know, it was just, wow, we did nothing this weekend. I just have the best weekend ever? Is everybody tracking here? Little perspective. I'm like, man, this is an awesome weekend. People say your kids grow fast. Well, you know what? They go really fast when you're numbing out and not paying attention. They go really fast when I'm getting home and not paying attention, when I turn on the tube, have a drink, and don't engage with them. Certainly when I don't journal about it. You tracking here? One of the ways I can slow down the time it takes to boil water is to stare at it. One of the ways it takes longer to cook toast is to stare at it. I'm paying attention. It's the same amount of time as when you're not watching it, right? But your perspective shifts. So when I'm paying attention in the moment and catching the cool notes from my kids, I'm slowing time down. I only ever get 7-year-old Rebecca once. This is it. I only ever get 9-year-old Jake Booth once. This is it. My 12-year-old, Caitlin, we're about to celebrate 2 years seizure-free next Saturday. We only get that once, hopefully. Oh, man. I'm telling you, you gotta slow time down. Well, here's part of the thought. When I'm celebrating these great moments, this is powerful. What if your great moment isn't just for you? Are you tracking here? I mean, when you review this journal, hey, what's going to happen? Well, I'm about to meet with people today. I'm pretty sure that not all of them are in a great place right now. Some of them might be in that valley. Some of them might be in that dark night of the soul place. I'm really good right now. What's going to happen? I'm going to bring that sun to their world. They may not have seen it for a while. I'm going to bring it. What just happened? Hey, what's going to happen? I'm going to impact people today. People are going to say, how's your weekend? I'm going to say, it was freaking amazing. We did nothing, and it was awesome. Everything I thought it could be. What's going to happen? Start to set some intentions. Start to set some goals. Journaling. Very, very basic journaling. One of the things I knew I should be doing was making moments with my kids. So over these leadership days, I'm like, I should be writing notes to my kids in their lunch. I got this really cool app called Streaks. And I started tracking how many days in a row I'd hit a note in their lunch. Because it was a haphazard. I'd write one. Such a simple thing. How long does it take to write a note? 5 minutes. Maybe less. But Rebecca, when I first started tucking notes in her lunch, she couldn't read, right? So what happened? Check this out. I didn't really think it through this scenario. But her teacher read it. Not just read it in front of the class. Dear Rebecca, I want you to know Daddy loves you today. Hope you enjoy your sandwich. Love, Daddy. In front of her whole class. It's a good day. It's a good day. I was like, wow, that was unintended, but awesome. I should probably start doing this some more. So I started writing notes. This is not one of my notes. This is my 9-year-old son who wrote a note for my lunch 2 weeks ago. He wrote a note. I got to the office, and there was a note in my lunch. I just had leftovers. I don't do a lunch like they have lunch, right? I had leftovers, and there's a note from my son. Have a great day and lunch, Dad. Cool picture. I love you, big mister. He's 9! World changer. Is everybody tracking this here? Oh, it's a good day. What happens if you start doing the things you know you ought to do? Is that going to make a difference with the people around you? Is that going to make a difference in your business? Hopefully Greg Salsiccioli will talk a little bit about systematic renewal. If not, it's in his book, but you need to get this concept in. Every day you're expending energy. Every day you're pouring your life out into people. In fact, frankly, isn't that your position description? Pour out into people. Pour out into people. Pour out into this person you know is going to quit tomorrow. Pour out into this person you know is not even coming back to training. Pour out into this person who probably won't even show up in the first place. Pour out into this person you know you're going to fire next week. Pour out into this person. Pour out to that person. Pour out to this person that may or may not be here next year. You're pouring out, pouring out. I get it. You're pouring out all the time. Sometimes we use words like, I feel burnt out. But really, you just might be dry. Because you've been pouring out without replenishing. Somehow you got the idea that I don't have time to replenish. I don't have time to pour in. I don't have time to connect with the source. I like to believe that one of the powerful things of Leadership Day is we're giving you permission to have a great life outside the business and inside the business. And we know that one affects the other. We get it. They affect each other. If you've never heard it before, I am empowering you tonight to pour into yourself with a journal or however you can get it done by making that cool call so that you can pour into others. First PC you should have every day, first PDI call you should have every day is yourself. This is it. I just use a journal to do it. But you got to replenish. You got to replenish. Otherwise we get dry. Oh, this is a really good exercise. I can't skip this one. Oh, favorite things list. Who's heard it? Who's got a favorite things list? Favorite things list? Short on time. Here's the lightning round of favorite things list. Are you ready for this one? In your journal, I want you to write down a quick list, quick hit of all the things that makes life taste good, feel good, smell good. Write it out as fast as you can. All the things that you love doing. Favorite things list, go. What are some of the things you love doing? I'll tell you some of the things on my list. You interested? Sam Adams Oktoberfest beer is on my favorite things list. I only had one, so I had to bring this to you. I need to replenish. Can you hear me right here? Favorite things list? Writing with a good quality pen. Dustin Marks sent me a great quality pen because he heard that I lost my other one. I'm not looking for gifts. I'm just saying, wow. When you write with a great quality pen, I'm like, oh, this is on my favorite things list. Busting open that journal with the black leather and the gold leaf outside. Oh man, it's so good. And the pages don't bleed in between. You can write on both sides. Favorite things list. Favorite things list. Smelling my kids were infants, smelling their hair after a bath. I'm like, oh, favorite things list. Favorite things list can be simple. Most of them are free or cheap, right? Most of them. Some of them are expensive, like good quality red wine. It's on my favorite things list. You know what else is on my favorite things list? Filet mignon, medium rare. The redder the better, all right? And you know what? A separate things list, because they're so awesome, or both at the same time. Is everybody hearing me right? Favorite things list is so simple. Simple cheese nachos with salsa. Not expensive salsa Whole Foods. I'm talking paste, pecani, nasty salsa. Favorite things list. You got some things on that list? I want to pause here because we're short on time. I'd like to hear what some of these are. Can I tell you what started to happen when I had this list? I started doing them more often. Why not? Life's too short to not do the things on this list. So I started manufacturing more moments. You know that moment when you get the golf ball, when you get all of it, you're like, oh, I just hit the best golf shot of my life. I don't even care it's in the water, man. That was awesome, dude. Dude, that's why I do that. So I manufactured more of those moments, right? Favorite things list. And when I do those things, guess what happened? Guess what changed? When I was doing those favorite things now, right, I was aware. I was like, oh, this is on my favorite things list. Right. And the life brightness meter goes up a little bit. Everybody tracking on this one? So I manufactured more moments. The second thing is sometimes you just naturally do those things, right? Sometimes just through the organic course of life, you do the things, but again, you stop yourself and it's perspective and it's gratitude in that moment. This is on my list of favorite things. The only thing that changed is you're now aware of that thing. How many of these things can you manufacture in the next 72 hours? How many of these things can you manufacture the rest of the year? Do it often. Life's too short. Favorite things list. Let me finish with this. 6 minutes and 43 seconds. It's relationship exercise. I'll get a little more time than that. That's good. Relationship exercise. All right, what I'd like you to do is fresh sheet. Get yourself a fresh sheet of paper on this here. Quick hits, right? We do this in 8 hours, right? We're doing this in 60 minutes. Fresh sheet of paper. I want you to write yourself in the middle of the page, draw a circle around it or a square, whatever you prefer. Me, most important relationship we just established, right? You got to take care of you. You take care of you so you can take care of me. All right, so you got to take care of you. That's your number one relationship, all right? After that, though, what I'd like you to do is write out your 8 most important relationships. You can write initials. You can write full names. It's really your list. You'll probably know who they are. Who are your 8 most important relationships? Most people find it pretty easy 1 through 6, and then what happens? Oh, this is horrible. Why is it so hard? 7, 8. Why is it hard? I gotta pick. Is that life? Yep. Why? You have limited time. You have limited time. I know you'd like to act like you don't, but you know you can't get to all the people. You got to pick 8. 8. Show your hands, you got 8. You got done. Good on you, soulless person, right? No, I'm just kidding. Decisive, it's good. 8 people, right? Only 8. We could use 10, we could use 6. The point isn't the number. The point is at some point you have to make a decision on who is my inner circle, who's living in the front row of my life. I say that I want to pay homage to John Vroman, who developed this with John Kane, right? 8 most important relationships. I did about 26 events this past year, and I did this the first couple times, and then I didn't do it for the third time because I'd already done it a couple times, right? I was like, that was stupid. I'm going to be doing this a lot more. I'm just going to do it every time and see what happens. You know what I found happening? Is that sometimes the 7 or 8 person would change. I mean, I got 3 brothers, I got 3 kids and my wife, parents, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm already out of 8. Right there, it's no buddies, you know what I'm saying? John Kane's in my 8. So which one of my brothers, actually one of my brothers gets to come in. You guys tracking here on this one? Who's your 8? And if we had more time, we could even draw another circle, maybe make a note to later, right? Another 16 after that. All right, go ahead, write 16. You don't have to write them out now, but put another circle there and you can fill it in later. Now, they're not the 8. One of the takeaways, usually we arrive at during Leadership Day, is that if you've got limited time, your top 8, you've got to prioritize. Anybody, as you're looking at that list, you recognize, hey, I call them in my top 8, but I don't treat them like top 8. Does that resonate with anybody here? All right? And some of that's young man syndrome. That's not vector syndrome. Everybody follow here on this one? Young person syndrome, hey, I'm busy, I'm moving fast, I'm not really aware. But like any other resource, if you do not tend it, if you do not take care of it, if you do not nurture it, if you do not invest into it, it can wither. Or at least not be as awesome as it could be. Before I moved to open up my branch office, my dad and got pretty tight, got pretty close, but we had this little stretch for some stupid reason where he wasn't calling me. I'm like, screw it, I'm not calling him. And I was about to move, and he was about to move, and I was like, I'm not going to call him, because if I call him, then he won't learn nothing. So I won and didn't talk to him for like 2 weeks. It was horrible. So I finally call him up. I'm like, Dad, what's the deal? He's like, what do you mean? I said, you haven't called me. You know what he said? He's like, dude, you got a phone? Now, partially harsh, but also very true, isn't it? I can't get those 2 weeks back. Here's what I did get, at least a little perspective where I made sure we got together face-to-face once a week until we both moved for lunches. Those were awesome times. What I can tell you is this, from personal experience. If you prioritize these people and you make the time, I mean, some of them, it doesn't even require a lot, just the intention. Like even a phone call on the way home, even if they're not there, leaving a voicemail message makes a massive impact. Massive impact. That leverages back so much. Knowing that you left that great message. I instituted something called the random call of awesome. Some of you may have received the random call of awesome. I just start going through my contacts. Usually I start with my favorites. I start scrolling through and I go, boom, you just got the random call of awesome. How are you? I'm really good. Wake up. No reason. I love you. That's it. Good day? Yeah. Good day. You do enough of these random calls of awesome and you put those out there and you start watering some of those plants and you see what starts to happen. You start to get random calls of awesome back. You start to get lunches, notes, right, in your leftovers. It reciprocates. You start to initiate these things, it starts to come back. This helps you in your personal life. This helps you in your business life. This is all culture stuff, isn't it? Random call of awesome. You can use it. Just give me a quarter every time you call it that, okay? All right. Get a Miracle Morning book going or something like that, right? Let me finish with this. Relationships. Boy, I got to believe this. If you invest into those relationships, let me just say this. If you invest into those relationships, man, it makes everything so much easier. I'm going to say that again. You invest into those relationships, it makes everything else that you're doing so much easier. It doesn't make it easy. But I'm telling you, the sales report dictates less of how you feel when you have great, robust relationships. Because you're tending them, you're nurturing them, you're making them better, you're paying attention, you're aware. You can do it, you're smart. If you were to just journal ways that you could improve your relationships, it would work. Guarantee it. I guarantee it. The decision train. Show of hands, you've seen the decision train. I did not invent the decision train. I stole it from Bill Bright. I saw it on a tract I saw at some Campus Crusade for Christ, but it really had a big impact on me, and it's helped a lot of people. This is how most people operate in life. It's feelings, and if I'm feeling good, I'll do the things, and if I do the things, then I'll make some more decisions to what to do next. And this works as long as you feel good. What's the problem with this philosophy of life? Well, at some point, you're not going to feel what? At some point, you're not going to feel good. And if you don't feel good, you might not do the right things. If you don't do the right things, what does that look like? Well, like relationships, right? I mean, you've heard me tell this story before, perhaps, right? Relationships. Everybody's great at being great when everything's going great. So when you're dating somebody new and it feels good, it's gushy and it's squishy, and you're like, I'm calling, I'm texting you, yeah. And it's great. Everybody feels good in the honeymoon period, but at some point that ends. And if you're only doing the great things because it feels good, at some point you're not going to feel good. And if you don't do those great things, who knows how you're going to feel? Who knows what kind of decisions you might make? It may or may not line up with the best version of you. It's hard. That's just relationships. But you've seen this in Vector. You've seen this in Vector. When people are crushing it and they're in the good loop, no problem. But all of a sudden we get a bad cycle and I can't make it through. Real easy to see people slip out. There's another way of doing life. And this is not saying that feelings aren't important, because they absolutely are, but I'm going to say put them in the right order. That you can actually act your way into feeling a certain way. I'm not fired up. Well, it doesn't matter, because I know the right thing to do here is this, and I'm going to do it whether I like it or not. I'm going to get up and run. I don't feel like it. Yeah, it doesn't matter, Trent. You're going to do it. This is self-talk, right? You don't have to like it. You just need to get up. You just need to go. Do it. Have your actions follow your commitments, follow your decisions, and see how things turn out. Christy and I will celebrate 14 years married coming up in November. Very excited. 14 years, it's good. My wife's hot. It's really great. But she's beautiful inside, too, just in case you're interested. But we had a date one time. We were going to see Avatar. We had some stupid fight before the date. But there's one of those deals where, like, I didn't even want to go to the movie, but the babysitter showed up. So I wasn't willing to escalate the fight and send the babysitter home. Is everybody tracking here on this one? But I contemplated it, all right? So, no, you know what? I'm going to fall through on my what? Decisions, right? I'm going to do the right thing. The right thing in this case is I'm going to go on the date even though I don't like you very much right now. Didn't say it, I just said it in my mind. Everybody tracking here? So we go to the date, and I'm like angry, and I decide I'm not even going to talk to her the entire drive to the movie theater. Otherwise, she won't learn nothing. Is everybody tracking here on this one? All right. So, again, I won that one. We didn't talk. So we get to the movie theater, and we're watching Avatar, which it turns out is a really long movie. I'm sitting there basically by myself, right? She's beside me, but I'm like, not here. And it hits me. I'm like, what were we even fighting about? Anybody had this before? Like, what? And then the other side goes, well, you were mad. And it was real, like one of those. I'm like, but I don't even know what it was about. So I put my hand up on the armrest. It's kind of the international peace sign, right, for couples, right? So I put out the white flag hand, right? Now let's just see where that goes, right? What happens? She grabbed the hand. I'm like, all right, here we go. It's good, right? So hear me right on this one. I'm not saying what happened wasn't important. We hashed it through over at California Pizza Kitchen afterwards, right? How did the date start? Everybody follow me on this one for just a moment. How did the date start? Answer is terrible. There's no way you can, it was bad. The date, it wasn't good, right? If I was just gonna follow my emotions, if I was just gonna follow my feelings, I wouldn't have gone on the date. I would have missed out on all the awesome things that happened after we worked it out. Everybody tracking on this one? Right? Talking angry, awesome makeup things happening. Right? I'm just saying this. That something as important as my marriage is too important to bank on how I'm feeling today. Is everybody tracking on this one? My career is too important to bank on how I'm feeling today. Because feelings fade, feelings fleet, feelings float. And when feelings fleet and float, what do? I don't know. Here's what I can tell you. I'm going to have my actions, my behaviors line up with my commitments, my decisions. And then I got a shot. I got a shot of acting my way into actually genuinely feeling great. The feelings always follow. You do the right things, the feelings always follow. It might take longer on certain things. I'm going to end with this story. Dr. Norman Borlaug. Some of you may have heard the story. Who's cheering Dr. Norman Borlaug? Because most people don't know who this guy is, right? Dr. Norman Borlaug. He's still doing the seed thing, by the way, the seed thing. Just like when your buddies ask you, hey, you still doing the knife thing? You're like, yeah. Dr. Norman Borlaug was an agricultural scientist. His thing was seeds. He's still doing the seed thing. He invented high-yield, drought and disease-resistant crops that literally saved, with a B, billions of lives from starvation. The 4 biggest countries that were impacted by his programs, China, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, with his program, with his seeds, all went from famine issues, and real issues, to exporting food. I'm going to be clear on this one. Went from not enough food, people are dying, to we have so much food we couldn't possibly eat it all, let's sell some. Is everybody tracking this one? Massive, especially with these countries. The executive director of the UN Food Program said that Dr. Norman Borlaug saved more lives than any man in human history. His heart was as big as his brilliant mind, but it was his passion and his compassion that moved the world with seeds. Hear me right, leader. Seeds aren't sexy. I get it. You know what's sexy? Saving lives. And I know that sometimes you feel like knives aren't sexy. I get it. Saving lives is really what we do. Investing into lives is our business. And yet, I'm still doing the knife thing. I'm not suggesting that there aren't other opportunities out there, because there certainly are. But I can tell you this, being here for 20 years, where else are you going to go where they're going to feed your soul like we do here at Vector? Where else are you going to go where they believe in the power of the moment, that moment of decision, and they back it up? They back it up with leadership development days, AVA. They back it up with events in Nashville at the Gaylord Opryland. Are you hearing me, leader? Are you hearing me tonight? I'm inspired by a company that would invest so lavishly, wantonly in the leadership capital. I'm inspired to work with a company and to exchange a piece of my life for it. It's worth it. Have an awesome SLC, everybody. I look forward to seeing you in the days to come.